What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Hard Count. Hosting, as always, it's your boy. It's your boy, Connie. You know, CJ, by the way, I hate calling myself that because I feel like I'm giving myself a nickname. I don't know. I don't know how I feel
Your
about
boy?
calling myself No, Connie.
Oh,
See, like, if I ever introduce myself to somebody, like, CJ, watch this, ready? We'll do a little acting class right here. You ready for this? Oh, hi, sir. How are you doing? What's your name? Oh, CJ. Oh, hi, my name's Anthony. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? You'll never catch me being like, yo, my name's Connie. But then it's weird because the minute I say that, all my boys are like, what are you talking about? That's Connie.
yeah.
Am I bugging?
In a way, not bugging, but just more like, it's laid back. It's a podcast, so people know you by now by Connie. And then you got, if you're watching live, shout out to people watching live. It says Anthony Conover right there, right there. So, if they don't know by now, then I don't know what they don't know your name is Anthony by now. Then they're missing out.
It's a true statement. It's a true statement, CJ. But the only thing that is very important to my life, our viewers' lives, honestly, the world. How you doing on this Tuesday, there, guy?
Man, I'm doing well, brother. Watching some playoffs, hockey and NBA.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a little bit of the Yankee game too, playing the Blue Jays. It's a lot of things going on in sports. Schedule coming out next week for the NFL, so can't wait to dive into that with you and chop it up, talk some football, and then of course, we had the draft last weekend, so.
Yes, sir. We're going to get all into that. And listen, we'll start it out with not the draft. Listen, people, we're going to get to the draft. This is probably going to be a very draft-heavy show. But we got to, hit on some of the news. And honestly, CJ, even some of the things that we have not included in our little text back and forth.
Oh, well, I mean, some of it is like because of the draft. So I thought we'd just talk about Hollywood and A.J. Brown.
Oh, D-Hop.
D-Hop. Oh, yeah, word. Yeah. Forgot
D-Hop.
about that.
Ryan Tannehill's comments today. Oh, yeah.
True.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're right. We can't get into all that when the draft comes about, though, because, listen, it's big stories. But we start out, Honey Badger. The Honey Badger is taking his talents away from Kansas City, not by choice, by the way. Because if you remember when they signed Reed, he was like, bro, what the hell? I would have signed that contract. He wanted to stay in Kansas City very badly. Unfortunately, they didn't feel the same way, obviously. They moved on from him. But the Honey Badger moves on and is going to go play for New Orleans. And CJ, it's a big get for them because you remember they lost both of their starting safeties this offseason. I believe that
Malcolm Jenkins retired.
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins retired, and then
Williams
went to the Ravens.
Yep.
So they are down two of their starting safeties, and, well, they replaced at least one of them with a very talented player, if I say so myself, CJ. You like it?
Yeah, I like the move. This is a good team. Michael, what's going on, brother?
Michael.
What's going on, Michael?
Somebody say Michelle.
I like the move, Honey Badger to New Orleans. He's from there. He's from Louisiana. We know about the historic career at LSU. Had some trials and tribulations there, but bounced back and had a hell of a NFL career. Started off with the Cardinals, then went to the Texans, and then, like you just talked about, had some special years in Kansas City. Now he's going back home to a really good team. It's not like he's going to a team that's, I mean, they went 8-9 last year, but they're outside of their quarterback and Jameis getting hurt. They're a really talented team all around. Mike Thomas should be coming back. They just drafted Chris Olave in the first round. We're going to dive into that, of course. And just adding him is a big factor. He's a leader. He's a champion. He has that type of leadership qualities. He's a playmaker as well. He could play in the box. He could also play some free safety as well. So it's a great move, great pickup for an already excellent defense.
Yeah, I mean, you match him up with some of the people over there. Obviously, they have. I'm really getting bad with names. I don't know if it's early dementia or something going on here, but not definitely not what I want at the age of 22. Um, I can't think of their corner right now.
Oh, you got Marcus Lattimore.
There we go. Pair him up
Yeah.
with Lattimore. Obviously, their D line was very underrated last year. Saints don't make it out the wild card. I mean, hey, I don't even. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not,
to me, they're
a
a playoff
crazy
team.
statement.
Yeah. To me, they're a playoff team. HG, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I think they're still a playoff team. You got to remember, Jameis tore his ACL. They were 5-2 when he got hurt. He had 14
Yeah.
touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was playing pretty well, and that was without Michael Thomas and without Chris Olave, who we think was going to be really good in the NFL. So Alvin Kamara still back there in the backfield making plays, and they also added Marcus May from the Jets. So that wraps up that safety position they were able to clean up after losing those two guys you talked about at the top of the show.
Yeah, I definitely like the move, and it's crazy because you remember where they started from this offseason. I thought they were like 90 million over the cap. Like they were over the cap by a lot. And in like 3 days, they got underneath the cap and made a bunch of money for themselves to try and go out and get players and make their team better. Which, uh, I mean, it's crazy how much you can. And I mean, Christian got into a little hissy fit about this with some other people in the group chat. How much you can manipulate the salary cap. Now he doesn't like the word manipulate because it's within the rules or whatever, but finesse the system. I like to call it because the salary cap is there, but I mean, it's also you do a little something here, CJ maybe sprinkle a little something over here. Next thing you know, you're about $45 million under the cap, and you did not do anything. Just took some of your contract and said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it a signing bonus now instead." The contract's been signed for 16 years. How is it a signing bonus now? Well, it's okay. It's okay. So they obviously did some good work. Obviously, I don't think anybody did as good as at manipulating the salary cap as the Rams did, but good on them. Good on them. I really do like this move. I think it's gonna because I mean, let's be real here too, CJ. Honey Badger's better than both of the people they had before anyway. So if
Absolutely.
they can get what he's probably a free safety strong.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of like a hybrid. Um,
So
he could do both.
whoever they
He could
can
do
pair
both.
him up with, here we'll say this: whoever they can pair him up with, if they're decent, it might be better than their safeties were last year, because I think he elevates it a lot. And then, like I said, if the other person that they pair him with is even decent, you might have a better duo than he did, and that's with both of your safeties leaving. So, a good job out of them. After seeing the Rams couple off season, I'm pretty sure the salary cap is just a myth. HG, I'm starting to agree with you, bro. I don't know how everybody keeps finessing the system, but I know a team that does not, do that to the salary cap. I'm just, throwing that out there as well. CJ will move on there though, and we go to another little story that end up not happening. Didn't happen. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. It did not end up happening, I should say, at the draft, where a lot of people, some people, thought it might have happened, that Baker Mayfield was going to end up getting traded at the draft. There weren't too many suitors for him before this. Maybe with the draft going on, you can get a deal done eventually, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't happen. Baker Mayfield is still a Brown. And let me tell you something. It's going to be a little awkward if he's still a Brown at the start of the season, because I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know what's going to happen. He's just not going to show up. He's going to, hope. And I'm not saying I'm hoping. And I'm not really saying he's hoping, but kind of hope that somebody gets injured. A team all of a sudden needs a quarterback. Hello, this is Baker Mayfield. I'd like to come play for your team. That's what he kind of has to hope happens. If I'm Baker, listen, it might hurt the pride a little bit. First overall pick in the draft. I would call up Tampa, and I would call up the Browns in Tampa and be like, yo, listen, let me get over there to Tampa. Tom, let me learn from you for like a year because I know you don't want to be here anyway. You're trying to go over to Miami, hit one of those clubs up that everybody was at during the bubble. And then I get to, take over the Bucks, have a little fun with Mike Evans, have a little fun with Chris Godwin. I would try and do that, but Baker does not end up getting dealt. CJ, what are your thoughts on it? Where is he going to end up? Is he even going to play football this year? That's becoming a real question.
Yeah, what a fall from grace. I mean, just 2 years ago, he won the Browns' first playoff game in 25 years. They thought they'd had some type of stability at quarterback for, at least, the next 5 to 7 years with Baker after the season that they had 2 years ago, beating the Steelers. And then last year just got hurt. And then the Odell situation with him getting cut and reports of him not giving him the ball and just schemes and things like that.
Out here making videos.
Exactly. Odell's piles dropping the videos of Baker missing him, multiple times during the games. And yeah, then him getting hurt also. And then off season comes around and Deshaun Watson is available. And, the Browns front office, Andrew Berry and those guys felt like they want to make their team better. And obviously, no question, Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than the Baker Mayfield. That move. And that's what they're going with, moving forward. And you got to remember, too, this regime did not draft Baker Mayfield. Andrew Berry and those guys, they didn't draft Baker Mayfield. That was, I'm blanking on the guy that drafted him, but he's not there anymore. He got fired. So they're not committed to Baker like some of these other teams that are committed to the younger quarterbacks that they actually drafted and from a front office standpoint. And that's what it is. That's what it is. It just happens to any other position in the league. If you're not good enough, you're going to get replaced. Quarterback is not any different. They're not any different, and that's just Baker's situation. Just has to humble himself, get back to the drawing board. Where should he go? Seattle seems like makes the most sense, just because Drew Lock is obviously not to me not a starting caliber quarterback in the league. But in order for him to get signed by another team, he's going to have to get cut because the team the teams that want him don't want to pay that salary, and then the Browns, they don't want to pay that. They don't want to pay the salary off a trade. So that's probably why he didn't get traded. It's that standoff right there. They said there were some discussions, but obviously it fell through. So I think he's going to get cut. We thought about the Steelers, but the Steelers made a move and drafted a quarterback, so that's definitely not in question. And they picked up another quarterback in the offseason. So I think Seattle, it might be a backup role. Have to humble himself, sit for a year, and get back to the drawing board. Jameis Winston did it, sat behind Drew Brees, got the job the following year. It happens. Marcus Mariota sat behind Derek Carr. Now he has an opportunity to start in Atlanta. So it doesn't mean that your career is over. It's just your career is at a little stop right now. And then it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to still be a good starting quarterback or not going forward. So I'm rooting for him. I know he gets a lot of flack. He's an opinionated guy, but he's going to have to humble himself and get back to the drawing board and get back to that mindset like he was a Oklahoma and just get better as a quarterback because he definitely wasn't good enough. He didn't make anticipatory throws. He was kind of just a one-read guy. Just really a product of the run game. So he has to improve as a passer. I think maybe him sitting behind, Tom, like you said, in Tampa could definitely help him. And so he can learn some things. But ultimately, it's still up to him. It's up to what's in that man's heart.
Yeah, I still really do wonder if he doesn't go out and try and play through all those injuries last year if this happens. Like, I still think they attempt to try and trade for Watson. I think that they're still in the mix. But I wonder, because you got, everybody, we're kind of starting to forget already, even though it should be fresh in our minds, that they offered the trade and Deshaun was like, yeah, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, they were like, yeah, we're going to guarantee literally your entire contract and make you rich for the next 80 years of your, bloodline. And then all of a sudden, it was like, you know what? The roster looks really good. And, I think I can win with this team. Like, it was between the Falcons and the Saints, and he was leading Falcons. Like I said, everybody's kind of already forgetting that was the case. So I just wonder, I really do, if he does not try and play through those injuries, if the Browns are like, yes, we would love Deshaun Watson, we really would. But when he's like, nah, I'm good, if they would still be like, you know what, we're gonna offer you the sun and the moon and the Brinks truck. As CJ was a little laggy there. I'm sure he's trying to fix everything right now. So he'll come back in the streamer. Never fret, people. Don't be scared. I'm still here anyway, you know what I mean? So it's all right. But I really do wonder if that would have happened. I'm very curious to see what happens with his career, because obviously he's the first overall pick. Like, this is not some guy that was a scrub. He wasn't a late round pick, because also obviously as a late round pick you don't get much leave room. Yeah, and honestly, for a first round pick, not even a first round pick, a first pick, he didn't get that much leave room with the Browns. Like, that really was one bad season for him to come back, or for him to just get thrown to the side. Like, it really was one bad year, and I understand it is Deshaun Watson, so I can't really blame him. Look at that. See, I told you CJ be back. I don't lie, people. I never lied, never have, never would. CJ, you're still muted though. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there we go.
All right.
There's that beautiful voice we all love. But all right, CJ, do we mosey on over to the draft now, or do you want to go to D Hop's little suspension, or do you want to bring that up while we talk about the draft?
Yeah. Let's talk about D Hop and him being out for 6 weeks. It's a big deal.
Yeah. So D Hop gets suspended, little PED action, which is so weird to me. And it's not weird that he did the PEDs or anything like that, but it's like, I'm a big baseball fan. I mean, you see the Yankee thing right above me. I'm watching the game right now, beating the snot out of the Blue Jays, by the way, 7-1. But like
11 in a row.
In baseball, you feel me? 11 in a row. That's what I'm talking about. But like a PED suspension in baseball, you kiss the Hall of Fame goodbye. I mean, of course, unless you're David Ortiz and everybody just decides to forget about it. But that's none of my business. You get suspended for like basically the entire season. And I feel like PEDs in football, it's like, oh, he got suspended for PEDs. That's crazy. All right, see you in week 7. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, we're not even gonna like sit there and talk about it a little bit. Like, we're just, moseying on past that. All right. But he gets suspended for the PEDs. And like HG said right here, D Hop has already come out. And I mean, I don't suspect anything less. But he was like, I have no idea how this happened. Me and my team are going to look into it. I've always been very diligent of what I put in my body, yada, yada, yada. Now, this is a very big deal, because if everybody remembers, and CJ, I know you do, we talked about it a lot. When D-Hop was out for them last season towards the end, their offense looked like it was trapped in mud. And then obviously they got mollywopped in the playoffs, but they did not look very good without D-Hop. And now you don't have him for 6 weeks. I mean, and you also lost Christian Kirk. Now we're going to mention it while we talk about the draft, but I'll just mention now since we're talking about it. They did acquire Mr. Hollywood Brown, but Hollywood Brown ain't no number 1 wide receiver. We learned that while he was with the Ravens. So you got old ass AJ Green. Zach Ertz pretty solid. I'll give you that. Hollywood Brown, and then like a couple other people. Yeah, I might be a little nervous. CJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's 2 factors. One, I'm not surprised a lot of guys take PEDs. They just have a great job of masking it, and so they won't get caught. I mean, it's not. If anybody's naive to think that these guys don't take performance enhancing drugs, and everybody in the NFL is 100% clean, and I don't know, bro. I think you're just blind. So You know,
A little bit
it
of
could be a
confidence there.
circumstance. Yeah, I mean, it's just a factor, bro. I mean, they play in a violent sport, and it's like you want to try to get an advantage. It's just like in the UFC, like even
Listen,
in the
sorry for a
UFC as
little
well.
premature fist pump there, CJ, but I know me and you watching this Ranger playoff game right now, hockey, just scored
Yes,
a goal,
sir.
go up 4-3, baby.
Yes,
You up
sir.
forever.
Yes,
You
sir.
feel me? Only time I'm ever gonna watch hockey.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, man. Shout out to the Rangers. But I mean, a lot of these guys take PEDs, take HGH. It's just the nature of the beast. You want to try to get an advantage. You want to try to recover as quickly as possible, especially in football. You know, the amount of hits and damage they take on a weekly basis. It's just a factor. Again, like I said, in the UFC, these guys are getting hit in the face, kicked in the face, getting the arms and shoulders positioned where it should never be positioned. You know, you want to recover as quickly as possible. You want to have an advantage. And these guys just do a great job of masking the things that they take so they don't get tested positive. And there's so much technology and science nowadays. It's you could definitely do it today better than how it was 10, 15 years ago. So that's one side. Then the other side is, I mean, there are some things that, you know, the players, they trust in their they put their trust in trainers, and their trainers give them supplements and things like that to put in their body. And, you know, it's just sometimes unfortunate situations where something that may be in a supplement or something that they take is banned, but it's also on the players to put themselves first, trust themselves first, and understand and learn about the stuff that they're putting in their body. You have to, because one, you're missing out on pay. You're missing out on playing time. I mean, that's 6 weeks. You know, those are weeks that you could put up good stats, and then, you know, the next 4 weeks you could get a whole bunch of money and incentives and things like that, and you probably won't be able to reach those thresholds because of the time missed. So the players have to be smarter with what they put in their body. They have to understand, look, what is this? What is this that you're giving me? What's behind? What's on the tab? What's on the nutrients list behind the bottle? Let me know what's going on, because I don't want to get suspended. And they have to have those conversations with their trainers, and that's it. I mean, you don't, like I said, you don't want to lose money. You don't want to lose time off the field for things like this. So I'm going to say, hopefully all the players, try to do that, but 9 times out of 10, they're not. And then like I said, man, a lot of these guys do take steroids and HGH. I mean, it's just how it is. Even it still happens in baseball too. Happens in all of these sports, man. You want to try to get an advantage, and that's it. I mean, you just don't want to get caught. Olympics, all this stuff. I mean, they all do it. It's like
shout out Russia. Shout out Russia.
Yeah, it's just real. It's just unfortunate. Like you said, it's unfortunate for the Cardinals. And I think they probably knew what was going to go down before they made that trade, which is why they made that trade for Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is a number 2, but when he comes back, it's going to be D-Hop, Brown, AJ Green, Rondell Moore. That's pretty good. Our wide receiver group right there. And then you got Zach Ertz up the seams. So no excuses for Kyler. Should go out there and be able to perform as long as that O-line holds up, right? Should be able to perform and put up some big numbers and get the Cardinals back into the playoffs and have a much better game than what he had in that wild card round against Los Angeles.
He better hope, or else he's really going to be the scapegoat. Yeah.
He's not going to get the payday he expects either.
Oh no, Jimmy, we're going to get there because
we're right now. Yep.
I'm low-key very passionate about this topic. I really am. So wait, so CJ, you want to go into the Tannehill thing? You want to go into the draft, and we'll get to the Tannehill thing?
Yeah. Let's go right to the Tannehill Malik
right.
Willis little story.
Yeah, you start it off for me because I got some opinions here.
So Tannehill, guys are starting to come into the facilities now. It's about that time. Players are going into facilities, getting some workouts in. Working with trainers, working with some coaches, especially new guys too that just got signed or whatever. And Tannehill is back in Tennessee with the Titans, and they ask him about Malik Willis getting drafted and if they're going to mentor, if he's going to mentor him, and he said that's not his job to mentor him and be that type of guy. My thoughts on it is there's guys like that. I mean, so from a competitive standpoint, you don't want this guy to take your job. So, you're going to selfishly, you got to think about yourself. You don't want this guy to take your job. So you don't want to give this man any type of advantage or any type of notes or things like that. So he will try to, put you holding the clipboard in a couple weeks. So that's just, that's just what, that's what we live in. We live in a capitalist society. It's about competition. You know what I mean? And you want to be the best. So he's not obligated to be a mentor to him. Can he? Sure. 100%. 100%. He could teach him things and teach him how to watch film and how to train, how to do certain things like that. He could definitely do that if he wanted to, but he doesn't have to do that. And then these quarterbacks, they've been babied all their lives. They've been babied all their lives. Tannehill's a little different. Start off as a wide receiver at Texas A&M and then transition to a quarterback.
I did not know that.
Yep. So yeah, his story is a little bit different, but still, a lot of football players in general, especially go to the league, they've been babied the majority of their lives. So, but the quarterback is, the sacred position, and this is a guy that threw 3 interceptions against the team that AFC champions last year. So of course he's not, thinking about trying to, mentor a guy that they just drafted, and if he plays well, he could potentially replace him. So I understand the people getting at him, but you got to think about it too. It's like, would you mentor somebody at your job? Somebody just comes in to your job, and your boss tells you, "Yo, we bringing this guy in. Yo, mentor him, and let him and teach him the ways." And then the guy takes your job like 3 months later, because you taught him everything. You told him the ins and outs of the program and of the job. And then he just takes your spot. How do you feel? Personally, I would feel like I didn't do enough. That's me. That's how I feel like. I feel like I didn't do enough to keep my job, so that's why I got replaced. That's just me, though. I don't know if he would feel that way. He should feel that way. Like I said, you just threw 3 interceptions in the playoff game. It's the reason why they lost when the team had 9 sacks. And you give the football back to the team 3 more times, which is why they won the football game. So, listen, quarterback's sacred, man. The sacred position, they get babied, and they have a high ego. So I get where he's coming from, and I also understand the backlash too. It's just the nature of the beast. It's football, man. Nobody should be surprised.
Listen, we got some comments here. Jimmy saying every argument I hear in favor of football is that it teaches leadership. I just feel like it's your job to teach the next generation. Fair, but it's not like Tannehill's like 37.
See, you know what I mean? Like, I would get that if I would get that point if he was. Look, even you think Tom was mentoring Jimmy Garoppolo?
See, that's what HG is saying.
I don't think so.
He said if I'm old, I would mentor him, but if I had a lot of football left to play, yeah, I wouldn't mentor either. Unless it's do something stupid for September. I'm happy with how the league is looking right now. I'm going to sit back and enjoy James choke hard and burn out against the Heat. Listen, Vic, you're something.
The nicknames are timeless.
Nah, bro. What are we talking? Ant, the real RoboCop Conover? What's happening? The real King James? Vic, you got something new every single time you come into these streams. Greatly appreciate it. By the way, they took the goal away from the Rangers. Now we're going into overtime. Now I'm mad.
Wow.
I don't know why.
I'm actually watching this Warriors Grizzlies right now. I'm gonna tune back in.
I'm a little tight. But I'm right there with you. What have we said? What I feel like what we've learned our entire lives. It's a dog eat dog world, bro. Where it's kind of a selfish society that we live in now. Is that a very good thing? Probably not. But guess what? I gotta beat you to get to the top. And if this is, maybe a job on the assembly line back when, Ford was pumping out cars in 1930, I'd be like, sure, I'll teach you how to put some tires on. But guess what? There is only 32 starting quarterback positions in the NFL. 32. I ain't teaching nobody how to take my job. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Now, Ryan Clark said it too. He said, you don't have to do it. You can be selfish as a quarterback. It just doesn't make you a very good teammate. You know what? I'm sorry, but don't care. I don't care. I am not teaching somebody how to replace me, especially because it's not like I'm going to get kudos for it. It's not like all of a sudden I'm going to be the a Super Bowl champion because of it. And even if I am a Super Bowl champion, he's starting. It's not like I'm going to get any credit. Is Jimmy Garoppolo a Super Bowl champion? Yes, he is. Does anybody actually think he's a Super Bowl champion? No, they do not. You want to know why? Because he was riding the bench for the Super Bowl, and Tommy was leading comebacks, 28-3. We got a good old uh, Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line. So it's not like anybody's sitting here talking about Jimmy G, the Super Bowl champion. Did Alex Smith not get his flowers for training Mahomes? Alex Smith got shipped off to Washington and watched Mahomes win a Super Bowl. You think he's really that happy right now?
I mean,
yeah, you get your flowers as a good teammate. Guess what? I'd rather get my flowers as a good quarterback making millions of dollars. I'm sorry. That's just me.
yeah, there's some circumstances. You look at Drew Bledsoe, for instance. You look at the man in the arena. He was definitely helping out Brady, but he didn't think when you listen to the episode, he didn't think
he was getting his job back.
Yeah, he thought he was getting his job back, and also he didn't think Tom would be that good. This guy was a 6th-round pick, 4th-string quarterback. So he was thinking, yeah, I'll help him out. He's not. It's not like this guy's going to take my job or anything. So yeah, I'll help him out. It's just different. It's different. You could say bad. You could say bad teammate. You could say that. But again, that quarterback position is just a little different, man. It's different. Again, they have a lot of egos. They want to be the guy, and they're definitely not going to help anybody else be the guy when they're on the same team.
Christian, you're saying that Alex Smith got traded and got an extension 4 for $94. I don't care. I promise you, I don't care.
Now what is he saying? Is like I mean, because he's still good. I mean, it's not because he was a good teammate. Patrick Mahomes, like. I don't know.
Listen, extenuating circumstances here because he got his leg snapped and half almost died. But nobody. He's a good teammate for teaching Mahomes, and that's all he is. Like, I would much rather be the starting quarterback and be looked at as a selfish person. That's just me. You can have a different opinion. It's fine. Say it out loud. You agree it's selfish from the leader of your team. I don't. They led the team to a Super Bowl. Alex Smith did not. Alex Smith is not a Super Bowl champion. And if I'm Alex Smith, I'm tight. I am mad.
I mean, he said it's selfish from the leader.
After training him led him there. And guess what? If that's me, if I'm Alex Smith right now, I am disgusted.
So So Christian said it's selfish from the leader of your team. Yeah, it is. But again, everybody's selfish in some way. Everybody's selfish in some way, and especially in football, bro. You play football, these guys, they don't want to get their spot taken. That's it. You might help a guy here and there, but ultimately, you don't want that guy to take your job. And that's really what it comes down to. I mean, I'm sure he'll help him out in certain areas and try to help him. But in terms of being a mentor, and mentor means I could call you at any time and help you out and get advice from you and things like that. Pretty sure it's not gonna be like that. But it's also up to those coaches too. I mean, those coaches are supposed to be the ones to coach him and teach him, how to succeed in the league, and it's up to him also. But again, it's just you're leading the team, but won't help your position group.
Bro, I'm not a wide receiver. I am the starting quarterback. I am the only person on the team that only has one position. If you're a lineman, you can play 4 different ones. If you're a running back, you're in a rotation. If you're a wide receiver, there's 4 other ones on the team. Safety, there's backups. Cornerback, there's 1, 2, 3 slot, whatever. Would you want your team to suffer could Tanny get hurt? Yes or no? Obviously.
I get his point. I get it's obviously a fair point. Of course, I mean, you want to help. If the goal is to win, then you'll do everything possible. I get that, of course. But again, then there's still the selfish aspect. and the fact that you still want to help yourself, and you're not necessarily obligated to keep that job. So was Marcus Mariota mentoring Tony Ryan Tannehill before he took his job? I don't know. We never heard those stories. I don't know. I just know that he didn't perform well, and then he got a spot taken. That's just it.
Listen, if the second string want to take my job after I leave, that's cool beans. When I'm off the team, you can call me anytime you want. While I'm on that team, my phone is on do not disturb. Aren't you a dog? Yeah, exactly. And it's a dog eat dog world. So that's why I ain't training the other dog how to take a bigger bite out of me. I ain't training that dog how to take a bigger bite out of me. You know what? You want my advice? Yeah, bro. Throw the ball to the other team a lot. That definitely helps you out. I'm just saying. You ain't helping the Wolfpack and you're a Brady fan.
Yeah. I'm crying, bro.
Listen,
yeah.
No, you get zero. If there is an up and coming podcast right now that's like,
I wouldn't even. What could he learn from Tannehill anyway? Hand it off to Henry.
You know what? That's a solid.
Like, I mean, Alex Smith won a lot of football games. It's a little different. I'm telling you, it's a lot of guys in the NFL that don't mentor the guys behind them. They don't. It's a lot of jerks and dicks out there, bro. You know that.
Brett Favre didn't say shit to Aaron Rodgers. Just saying.
Those teams don't win.
I mean, I just gave you the Packers. I'm wrong.
Like I said, there's a lot of players that don't mentor the guys behind them, bro. It's just how it is.
That doesn't even make sense.
That's just how they are.
Favre didn't win when Rodgers was there. So what? Did you think that Favre telling Rodgers how to play was going to make Favre play better and have them win or something? That doesn't even make sense. Like Favre being a good leader is all of a sudden going to make them play. So a selfish attitude limit the team's success.
Oh yeah, I mean quarterbacks are one of the most selfish. Is one of the most selfish positions in on the team, bro. Just is.
Probably the most selfish position. How is him being a better leader to the second string quarterback going to lead the team to more success when he was the quarterback? That's like saying if the ball boy was better, the Nets would have swept the Celtics. If the guy mopping the floor would have cleaned up that spot a little bit better, the Nets would have been better. That is the equivalent of what Aaron Rodgers was on that team. Yeah, you do set the tone. And guess what? My tone is go out there, play, and piss off, okay? Anyway, let's go on to the draft, CJ, because this is like a
shout out Christian, man, for the good combo. Playing devil's advocate, I respect that. It's both sides.
The draft. Yes? Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Bonnie and Connie's my favorite. Christian,
yeah.
You body nothing. That was like me going up against a toddler right there. You're like a little baby. CJ, you ever watch Chris White on YouTube, the dude who plays basketball?
Yes, yeah, from Brooklyn.
Shout out Chris White. Baby food.
Yeah, he's a character, man. He's a character.
He be in New York sometimes. I might have to head down there, you know.
Yeah. He's from here.
Yes, sir. A little pickup. All right, let's go into the draft. And if you missed last week's episode, we did basically a mock draft with Sam. Shout out Sam.
Sir, shout out to Sam, man.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Content.
Shout out Sam, man. Did a great job with us breaking down the draft, talking about some guys that I've never heard of. That's how deep dive these into the college scene, and he did a great job last week, man. Shout out to Sam.
Now we're only going to go over the first round because obviously we can't sit here and go over every single round because, well, this would be about a 7-hour podcast. Just like, and by the way, CJ, I don't know about you, this might have been the least amount of draft coverage I've ever watched.
I'm not gonna. I'm right there. I'm right. I know definitely not as less as you because you don't follow college at all. But yeah, probably because of the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks. I mean, the quarterback is kind of mid this year, so didn't get a lot of talk. But I think this might be a really solid draft. You might look back and say this was a really solid draft, especially on the interior, the offensive line and D line.
Hopefully, because those quarterbacks, that was crazy. But we started off with the Jags picking number 1, as they usually do. They did end up going with Trayvon Walker, a little bit more of a project piece, a little bit. Some people were thinking Hutchinson's more the complete player, plug and play right away. They go with the guy that they think has some potential there. Not really a shock, CJ. I don't. I mean, obviously the 1 and 2 picks, I don't even think anybody's really surprised at. I don't know if you have any big, comments on them, but I mean, I like it from both teams. You pair up Walker with Josh Allen. You actually get a true pass rusher on the Lions as well. So I like both of those picks. Well, I don't have any real big comments on them. I don't know about you.
Yeah, the shocker was definitely Walker going 1 just because he really didn't play last year like a number 1 pick. He didn't have the numbers or the stats that were screaming out as bona fide number 1 pick, like Aiden Hutchinson, who had a phenomenal season for the University of Michigan. But he did a great job at the combine. His measurables were off the charts, and Jacksonville felt like maybe it was just more of a scheme thing, also more of the depth that they had over there in Georgia. He just didn't have as many opportunities as, say, if he went to another school, he would have been able to have some better stats. So they're looking at the upside and how well he played. I mean, how well he did at the combine, and they already have a pretty good edge rusher over there, and Josh Allen as well. So if he pans out, that could be a scary duo in the AFC South, no question, especially with a division with not a lot of good quarterbacks. So it's definitely feast. And Detroit, I think it's a great story. I think it's a great story for Aiden. Like I said, playing at Michigan, then you go into the Lions, a team that I think had a really good draft. We'll talk about what they picked up there at 12 in a little bit, but I think they did solid. Dan Campbell is a really good head coach, great motivator, players coach, seems like it. So looks like they're starting to make a transition. Obviously, still have Jared Goff, but you get your left tackle last year in Penei Sewell, and then you get your edge rusher and Aiden Hutchinson this year, and those are foundational pieces to making the transition for a good franchise. You need a left tackle, you need an edge rusher, and they did that.
I'd also just like to point out that Giancarlo Stanton might just have hit a ball back to New York from Canada. So big props to my guy. Honestly, I don't know if I want to say surprise at number 3 here, because we talked about it last week that realistically the Texans need, well, we're being honest here, everything. So I guess maybe some people could be surprised at who it is, with Derek Stingley there, because some people had Sauce Gardner being the best corner. Other people obviously had him. Obviously, the Texans did, and they end up picking him up. I don't hate it. Listen, there are some very, very, very good wide receivers in this league, and if you can't shut down wide receivers, well, you're gonna have a long day. This is not 1946 anymore, where people are running 95% of the time, and then their one pass play is a jump pass to Ed Bob, because that's everybody's name back then was some weird shit. So you're gonna need people that are actually gonna cover. And Stingley, they obviously think that he can do a very good job with that. And then honestly, at 4, that's where a lot of people thought the Jets were going to go, grabbing Sauce Gardner right there. And listen, you got Tyreek Hill in that division now. We obviously know that you got Diggs in that division. Patriots don't have a wide receiver you got to be scared of, so I'm not even going to say that. But you got to be able to cover some people.
Yo, chill, man. Tyquan Thornton, chill.
You know what? You're right.
I'm just messing with you, man.
So just get Sauce and Texans with Stingley, but I like both of those picks.
Yeah, Houston had a really good draft. I got Christian Harris and John Mechie in the later rounds, 2 Alabama guys. We know how guys in Alabama, how well they produce in the NFL. They had a really good draft getting Derek Stingley, a guy again who was the number 1 corner pretty much at the start of the college football season, and Sauce did a great job, implementing himself into that discussion. But the Texans felt like they wanted to go with Stingley, and I think it's a good pick. You need a guy that could cover, like you said. You got to lock up on that side, take away one side, and with the amount of receivers now, because of the quarterback play being at such a high level in this era of football, it's only right that the wide receivers are also going to play at a high level. So what do you need? You need a corner. You need a shutdown guy to try to at least take away one of the receivers on the opposing team. So that's what Houston felt like they needed, and hopefully it works out for them. And then Sauce Gardner, man, I mean, he's in a division that we're a fan of from New England standpoint, and he has the size and has the ball skills to be really good. Robert Saleh's a defensive-minded head coach. He coached Richard Sherman during that Super Bowl run that they had. When they went to the Super Bowl a few years ago. So he's used to having guys with some length being a corner, and I think it's a good pick for them also. I think they had a great draft. Just had a great draft.
We move on to number 5 and 6 here. Now, 5 might be looked at as a little bit of a surprise because there are a lot of things going around that Thibodeau had like an all-time bad draft interview with the Giants. Like literally one of the worst ever. Like everything he said was bad. And at that point, we should have known. I should have bet my entire savings that Thibodeau was going to the Giants because you obviously know that these teams love to lie to each other. But he gets picked up. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Giants pick up Thibodeau at 5. You get a pass rusher, an edge rusher there. Obviously, they need that over there as well. Pair him up with who's that defensive? Leonard Williams. I want to say, yeah.
Yep.
He's been pretty solid with them. And then you go down to the Panthers. They get Icky. Yo, shout out that commercial, the little Icky shuffle. Hey. Get some help. Yes, sir. Get a little help on the offensive line. Again, I like both picks. The Giants need a pass rusher. Panthers need some linemen. So, maybe CMC can run 5 yards and then get hurt instead of running, 1 yard and then getting hurt. And hopefully just make sure he doesn't get hurt because I keep drafting him in fantasy and it's killing me. And I love watching him play. So I'm going to need him to stay healthy, my guy.
Yeah, I agree, man. Thibodeau, I heard about those stories. It started to come out after the draft. Apparently the D-line, he had some issues with the D-line coach during their little dinner that they had. And then, they've made up and had a discussion about it, ready to move on, which is cool.
When you get an NFL contract, that'll happen.
Facts. But, a lot of these teams, that's what they try to do. They try to test you. They try to see if you're cracked. They'll try to, do anything and throw things at the wall and try to see if it sticks and see if they can, make you emotional or it's just they have a weird way of, evaluating guys. And, maybe that was a situation there. And I just want to see like what makes you tick. Can you get upset quickly? Like, are you? Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird, but they still drafted him. He was the best player available. Makes the most sense. You figure it out. Brian Daboll coming in, offensive-minded guy, but you still need some defense on the other side. So Thibodeau, again, just like Stingley, was the top guy going into the college football season. So to get him at 5 was definitely a good pickup. And if Conwood, you got to hopefully see him stay healthy, man. He's a menace. Him run his run blocking what he did in North Carolina State. He gets to stay home essentially, and stay stay in North Carolina and stay with the Panthers. To me, a really good organization. They just got to figure out that quarterback position.
Yeah.
They did. Maybe they did with Matt Corral from Ole Miss. We'll see.
You're not wrong. I thought a little Baker trade was incoming with that team as well. We move on to look. The Giants are back, 5-7. They kept both of the picks. There were some talks, maybe they move on from one of those picks, trying to see if they can get somebody, but they stuck with it. And they draft Evan Neal, a nice little tackle. You have Andrew Thomas already on one side. You hope Evan Neal works out on the other side. And then finally, you can start building that offensive line, which has been a huge problem for the Giants. Their offensive line has just been absolutely terrible. I mean, you can see it when Saquon's actually on the field as well. I mean, this man is probably running, literally just receiving the ball on the handoff before he's already getting tackled, basically. So trying to beef up that offensive line. And then the Falcons, potentially a Calvin Ridley replacement in Drake London? Or is it potentially a nice little partnership when he comes back next season? We're going to find out, if he returns or if he gets traded. Obviously, the Eagles attempted to trade for him before everything happened. And then the Falcons found out what was going to happen and said, listen, we can't trade him to you, unfortunately. So if anything, I question the Falcons pick more because, do you really need a wide receiver right now when you probably don't have your quarterback? You probably could use the help on the O-line. Probably could use help on the defense. So, do you need that wide receiver for a team that's probably rebuilding? Probably not. Kind of a little bit of a waste of his career if he turns out to be good. But all in all, I don't hate it. Because if Ridley comes back and then Drake London is good as well, you got a nice little duo.
Yeah, trio, really, if you had Kyle Pitts in there. I mean, he's a beast.
Absolutely right.
You got Marcus Mariota there. The team kind of looks, the way Arthur Smith looks like, they don't have the running back, but it looks like they're kind of trying to build that team like the NFC version of the Titans. They don't have a Derrick Henry, of course, but they just released Mike Davis. So, maybe they found a guy in the draft. But they got two physical receivers on the outside. And when Ridley comes back, and two really good receivers on the outside, and a really good tight end. Well, we thought Jonnu Smith was a really good tight end until he came to the Patriots. So then, yeah, exactly. So that's how they're trying to build the team. And they drafted Desmond Ridder from the University of Cincinnati, who has similar traits to Mariota, a mobile guy who's still kind of
about 45.
Yeah, he looks kind of old, yeah. But yes, he has to clean up some things as a pocket passer. We'll see how that works out. If he's a guy, that'd be great for them because then you got a wide receiver on the rookie deal, and if he's really good, then you got a quarterback on the rookie deal, and that can open some things up in terms of team building. So I like the Drake London move. He was touted as the best receiver in the draft. Some people had him or Garrett Wilson. It was really close. They both have different skill sets, but I think London would be a good fit. And Marcus Mariota, he's not a bad quarterback. So I think he's going to have a solid season. And again, a lot of things open up for him because they do have Kyle Pitts, who now is going to demand some double teams.
We go down to the Seahawks and then the Jets once again. Look at our New York teams. 2 picks in the top 10. We're doing great over here in New York. Thank God for the Rangers and the Yankees and the Mets we can throw in now, by the way.
Yes.
But Charles Cross goes over to Seattle. I don't mind that pick. I think, listen, they always say the game is won in the trenches because if you can't pass protect or run block, you ain't going nowhere. And if you can't get to the quarterback or stop the running back, you're really not going anywhere anyway. So Seahawks obviously in a rebuild. They shore up the O-line a little bit there with Charles Cross, and the Jets go wide receiver. And this is kind of where I wouldn't say surprising, but you thought some things might have been in play here where the Jets going to trade that 10 pick away and maybe, a second rounder this year and some other things and try and get Deebo Samuel. Obviously, that does not happen. They end up drafting Garrett Wilson. You pair him up with Barrios? No. Yeah, Barrios had a nice year for them last year. Obviously,
Corey Davis.
Yes, they have Corey
Should
Davis.
get healthy. Yep.
So you hope that he turns into your number one wide receiver. Obviously, that's why you're picking him with the 10th pick. So a lot of people had him as the best wide receiver in the draft class. So could be a steal in a way as well. So I listen. We're 10 picks in, and I really don't have a problem with any of them.
Yeah, neither do I. Again, Seattle, that was an issue for them as well. Offensive line, just unfortunately the quarterback left as they try to fix it. But hopefully they bring in a quarterback. You got to be able to protect him, and that's what they did. He's a really good player out of Mississippi State. Garrett Wilson, yeah, like you said, definitely could have been the number one wide receiver drafted. A lot of people had him as the number one wide receiver in this draft, and to get him at 10 was a big pickup. Zach Wilson has weapons. Yeah, he has some weapons now. You get a guy like Brees Hall from Iowa State. You got CJ Uzama, who had a great season with the Cincinnati Bengals last season at tight end. Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson on the outside. Mekhi Becton on the left side. Elijah Vera Tucker on the offensive line. So they're doing a pretty solid job over there. I got to give Joe Douglas a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And, the way he's building this team, it's really going to come down to number 2. And if he's that guy, we might see a nice progression for him from the New York Jets. Maybe in a couple, maybe not this year, but maybe next year.
We go down to number 11 now, and then this is where things started getting a little weird. There were a lot of trades, as you can see, between like the 11 and 18 mark. A lot of vias, Washington via Minnesota via Houston. A lot of trades going on here, all right? So I don't have all the trade details. Listen, if you really want to know, I'm sorry. You're going to have to look it up. Sorry. But the Saints at number 11, Chris Olave, a nice little wide receiver out of Ohio State. Pair him up with Michael Thomas. We like CJ kind of already talked about this earlier in the show, but you pair him with Michael Thomas. Obviously, you still have Kamara over there. You hope Jameis plays the way that he was playing before he got hurt. I mean, you might have a nice little situation going on over there with the Saints. And you go down to the Lions, you get Jameson Williams. And listen, you pair him up with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had a pretty solid season last year. You hope, Jared Goff holds you over, or maybe not holds you over. You play terrible again, get one of those quarterbacks coming through the draft next year. Yeah, once again, listen, I still have not really seen a pick that I hate.
Saints, yeah, they want to try to stretch the field. We know what Michael Thomas could do in the short and intermediate routes, and he's still a really good guy in terms of getting yak. But if you got a guy like Olave who ran a sub 4.3 in the 40, he had an excellent season. Had an excellent career really at Ohio State. Just think about it was him, Garrett Wilson, and James Williams at one point. We see why. How did they not win the national championship? I don't know. I mean, Urban Meyer was there for a little bit, so that explains a lot. But yeah, you bring him in, Jameis has some weapons now, man. I mean, he's kind of looking like a little bit when he was with Tampa Bay when he had Mike Evans and Godwin for a quick second there. So offense is looking pretty good for New Orleans, and I like the Lions. They traded up and they feel like they want to get a number one guy, number one wide receiver. And that's exactly what Jameson Williams was at the University of Alabama last year. He had an excellent year coming off the ACL, yes, but I think he's going to he's going to be healthy. It looks like he's on track to hopefully maybe not starting week 1, but maybe sometime in the early weeks of the NFL season. And I think it's a great move. And of course, probably going to go back to the lottery next year, and hopefully that's a quarterback, and then you can start this thing over again for the Lions. So I really like what the Lions did. They were aggressive. They didn't just stay complacent, even though they had the 32nd pick. They traded up, and they got one of the best wide receivers in this draft.
Yeah, then you go down to 13. The Eagles picked Jordan Davis. Obviously, we didn't talk about it yet, but Eagles in this draft as well end up getting A.J. Brown in a nice little trade. So they boost up that beautiful. Well, let's see what Michael said in these comments. What was I thinking? We got another app than Color Cast Dallas still favored in our division. Calm down, Michael. I don't know if they're favored. I don't know. Eagles might have something a little say there. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Eagles picked Jordan Davis. They also end up getting A.J. Brown in that trade. Put him alongside with Devontae Smith. They figured out how to run the ball last year. They were very effective doing that. Who else? They got Dallas Goddard over there as well. So they're kind of doing the same thing that they're doing to Kyler, kind of the same thing they're doing to Tua. We are giving you a lot of weapons here, buddy. It's time for you to show out and show up, or else we were moving on over. But Jordan Davis, great pick for them. That's a big guy. That's a big man running pretty fast at you at the defensive tackle position. And then the Ravens, they just keep doing good things. Kyle Hamilton, probably the best safety in this draft. Other people had the other kid, maybe. But just to pair him up with Marcus Williams, obviously we already know what their secondary looks like with Marcus Peters is back there, Smith is back there. I mean, they just got they got a lot, and Kyle Hamilton obviously adds to that. So good stuff from both of them as well. I'll see CJ had the loud New York City noise going by. He muted the mic like a true professional. You see that, people? That's all. That's CJ knows what he's doing.
Sorry about that, guys. Another day in the city, but yeah. Philadelphia. I mean, you pair him up with Fletcher Cox on that defensive line. That's pretty formidable, man. Brandon Graham coming back after tearing his pec. That D line looks nasty. Then you brought in Kobe Dean, got him in the third round. Had some issues with the shoulder, and that's ultimately why he dropped in this draft class. I mean, in this draft this weekend. But and you got two guys right there in the middle. They could plug up those offensive linemen, and it should give Kobe Dean some free lanes to get into that backfield, get some tackles for losses, and really disrupting the opposing team's offense in the backfield. So. I like what Philadelphia is doing, man. They made the trade for AJ Brown, gave him the extension, $57 million guaranteed, 4 over 100. They look good. They look good. They already made the playoffs last year. And what Jalen Hurts had 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions as a quarterback. Didn't play great. He wasn't that elite. He was elite as a runner, but not really as a pocket passer. So, like I said, this is a big year for him. He needs to show that he's going to be the franchise guy, and they're giving him the opportunity to do so. You got to give Howie Roseman a lot of credit. We talked about that. We all know about the Jalen Reagor, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf, picking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Well, now you got to erase those comments. Now you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, I mean, that's about as good as it gets as a wide receiver duo in the NFL. So, got to give him a lot of credit. A lot of people was on his ass for years, but guys are trying to get him out of there. But he looks like he did a pretty good job this weekend. And they're right there. They're right there on the Cowboys. Michael said that Dallas is still the favorites. Yes, but slightly.
Muy pequeño. You know what I mean?
City boy season. Yeah, man. Tough. It's tough out here sometimes.
We move on once again to I lost myself. Oh, there we go. The No. Yeah, Texans. We got to go back to the Texans. Is that a little spelling mistake? I see. Come on, what are we talking about here? This is a reputable website. We got the Texans. Come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing? We got a guard, Kenyon Green, going over to the Texans. Listen, you got to protect the quarterback, man. You have to protect the quarterback. So they drafted a guard, obviously hoping to do that for Davis Mills, who they have a lot of confidence in. I mean, listen, he was not that bad of a team. That bad of a player last year. So I honestly understand what they're doing, trying to protect him even more. And then you go down to the Commanders and a nice little trade. CJ, I hate to say it, but I kind of called it. I said I would love them to draft another wide receiver, pair it up with scary, terrifying Terry. And they do that. They got Dotson out of Penn State. I like this. You got a nice little 1-2 punch to my guy, Mr. Wensington, D.C. Wentz VP, of course. Put him up there
No,
for vice
no
president.
excuses, man.
Nah, no excuses no more. This is his MVP season. You know what I mean? So I listen. Usually, you can look at some things and say that's terrible. This is bad. I haven't done it yet, and we're 16 deep.
Yeah, this is it for Carson Wentz, man. If he can't get it right here, then I think he'll probably be a backup for the rest of his career. Uh, you go to a defensive, primarily oriented team again, really, because that's what the goals were, and running the football. And they got Big Ten wide receivers. You got Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin out of Ohio State, and then you bring in John Dodson from Penn State. Guys that make plays, guys that get yards after the catch. So, and then you got Antonio Gibson out the backfield. So this is a really dynamic offense that they have. I'm blanking on the offensive coordinator's name, but Wentz has some guys around him, and they should be able to make some plays this year and make the Commanders competitive. Commanders was in the playoffs 2 years ago, so that was only with 6 wins. So they're expecting him to play well, and they try to help them get to the playoffs. Him knowing this division, has a pretty solid record in this division as a quarterback. So again, more expectations on Wentz. We'll see if he lives up to it. And the Texans, I think the Texans had a really good draft. They really did. Nick Caserio, former Patriot front office executive, they did some great jobs. They got a guard. Michael said Christian said in the chat, Davis Smith was number 1 recruit out of high school. That was when Deshaun Watson was on the team. Oh yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I think he's good. I think he's really good. He showed some flashes last year. They want to see what they have with him. I think they made some good play. They made some good moves. Like I said, they got Christian Harrison, John Mitchell out of Alabama in the later rounds. They're building this team the right way, and it's in the division that in a couple of years you do the right things, especially if you have the right quarterback. It could definitely advance how quickly you become good. And then for last about Kyle Hamilton, again, really good pickup for the Ravens. They needed safety help, and I think pairing him up with Marcus Williams from New Orleans, I think it's a nice combo over there.
We go down to the Chargers. Zion Johnson, nice guard. Oh, were you still going?
No, I was going to say that secondary is going to be nasty. You got Marlon Humphrey got hurt, Jimmy Smith got hurt. So those guys get healthy with Hamilton and Williams. It's a pretty nasty secondary. But yeah, go ahead.
No, they're going to be nice with it. They really are. Go down the Chargers, Zion Johnson, guard, and then you go down the Titans, a nice little wide receiver, obviously trying to replace what they just gave up in A.J. Brown. They get Traylon Burks, and then the Chargers, like I said, get Zion Johnson. I don't dislike the pick from the Chargers, and obviously I might not have any idea what I'm talking about, but if there was any defensive tackle that was even relevant, I'd probably pick him there from the Chargers. Only because they were like the worst team against the run last year. We saw that on display many a times. And I mean, honestly, you even saw that in the final game of the season, which cost them a spot in the playoffs. They called a timeout to try and get their run stoppers on the field. Well, guess what? Josh Jacobs went and got about 15 yards. So how'd that work out for you? So they needed some run stuffers, but I don't hate protecting, Mr. Pretty Boy Justin Herbert. Obviously, you only go as far as your quarterback goes. We all know that it's a quarterback league. You have to protect him. You don't want Andrew Luck. You don't want Joe Burrow, even though Joe Burrow just led you to the Super Bowl. You don't want him getting hit 70 times again. So that's going to, take you from a Tom Brady career to, maybe about 10 years instead. So I don't mind either one. Maybe the Chargers I question a little bit. Maybe they should have been more aggressive and tried to trade up and get Jordan Davis, because then that defense would have been out of pocket if you get Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and Jordan Davis on that same defense. But and don't forget our boy. In the secondary, I can't think of his name.
J.C. Jackson. Yeah.
No,
Derwin James.
Derwin James. There we go. Don't forget about Derwin James. Obviously, another guy that I just hope stays healthy. But CJ, how about this? We'll just round out the 20. Saints, Trevor Penning. They lost Teron Armstead. to the Miami Dolphins. So they're obviously trying to replace him there. And then the Steelers get Kenny Pickett, our first quarterback of the night, goes at 20. And I guess it's their fit. I mean, they saw him all the time. He obviously went to Pitt. He used a lot of the Steelers facilities. Apparently, he was in the rooms a lot, so they probably know him better than anyone. And I guess a lot of people think that he's, 4 years he's been in college. He's probably the most ready to just jump in. Probably an immediate duel with him and Trubisky to see who's the starter. So, is he? He's obviously not number one pick material, which is why he went down to 20. Nobody even had to trade up to get him. He just fell to the Steelers. But listen, if he ends up being decent, this is quite the steal from the Steelers.
Chargers, I like the pick because Perry said too, which I completely agree with. They did a great job last year getting Rashawn Slater, solidifying that left tackle spot. I think he's gonna be an all-pro guy going forward for him. I mean, for that team, and just solidifying that O-line. Got to protect Herbert. Got to protect number 10, like you said. I think they kind of clean up that D-line a little bit and sign some other guys. Obviously, the big signing was Khalil Mack, and then Bosa's there. So I think they could kind of fix that D-line by maybe in off season get them maybe some in the later rounds. I think they got some guys in the later rounds. Forgetting their names, but I think they definitely filled that need a little bit in the draft and also in free agency. Titans, it's like Treylon Burks. That was really his comp was AJ Brown, and he goes to the Titans, and we'll see how good he is, man. He's obviously gonna get a lot of one-on-ones because you got to load up the box to stop 22, and we're gonna see how good he is because I don't know I think Julio's still on the street, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is.
So I don't think the guy's been picked up yet. So a lot is going to be asked of him early in this football season, and I'm excited to see they had a great career at Arkansas. Made a lot of plays, a lot of upside, and Tannehill's throwing the ball. Tannehill's solid, not great. He's solid, maybe below mid in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
But with Henry in the backfield, it's going to definitely set up some open looks for him, and he just has to capitalize. So we're rooting for him. And Saints again, going back to the O-line, got to definitely clean up that O-line. They had a really good O-line a couple of years ago. Kamara was going crazy running football. They're going back to that, getting the guy from Northern Texas, and the big pickup for only quarterback drafted in the first round, Kenny Pickett. Everyone talks about how he's right there next to him and the Steelers. The Panthers and the Steelers share the same facility, and it just makes the most sense. They're very familiar with him, and I'm rooting for him, man. I mean, people talk about his hand size, how he has smallest hands, and and in the NFL, but he looks it looks like he does pretty well with the two gloves. I mean, it looks like he has a stronger arm than Teddy, and obviously Teddy has two gloves, but he looks like a really athletic guy. He looks like a really athletic kid, and what they're going to do anyway is run the football and play defense. That's what they're going to do. They're going to give the rock to Najee Harris and let TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and them boys get to the quarterback and stop the run. That's what they're going to do. That's their identity. They need to go back to that. They kind of got a little too pass happy over the last few years with Antonio Brown and he's getting those other guys. They need to go back to Steeler football, and I think he could be a guy that could help them. He's very mobile, much more mobile than what Big Ben was the last 5 years. So he can move the football a little bit. You might see some more RPO actions for Pittsburgh, something we haven't seen in a while. I think this offense could look different. Tough division, but they're going to be in every game because of how they play.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what he can do in the league.
If he's really good, if he's good, man, that division's right up there with the West, AFC West, right there, man. If he's a guy, that's an exciting division because all those guys are young, and man, that would be a crazy division.
Listen, if he turns out to be like a top 12 quarterback, that might be the best division of all time. Honestly, quarterback wise.
Somebody has to get out of there. Somebody would have to get out of there soon, man. They want to win.
What other divisions ever had four?
That NFC, because that's tough to get out of, bro. And you got to worry about the AFC West. Those four quarterbacks. My goodness.
Like, what other division?
And Josh Allen.
4 top 12 quarterbacks. Like, that would be crazy.
Well, the AFC West has it right now.
You know what? You make an excellent point.
Yeah, they got it right now. I mean, we put Carr, 11, 12? Right in that spot.
Yeah, probably. NFC
So,
West had 4 solid ones last year. Calm down. Jimmy G
Yeah,
is sniffing the top 20.
right. Oh, no, definitely. They had 3, yeah. The Jimmy G, not even close to 12.
Not even
More like 20, 25 or something like that.
Yeah, let's slow our roll here.
They had 3 good ones.
Kansas City trades up with our boys, New England. They draft Trent McDuffie over there. You get a nice little DB. Packers get Quay Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. Bills get Elam, corner. And the boys get Tyler Smith, which I've heard a lot of people have some thoughts on. Running down that list that I just named out right there, Chiefs, they need to fix that secondary. They need to fix the defense as a whole. Don't mind that one. Quay Walker, I don't mind that one as well. Did you need a wide receiver? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you lost Devontae Adams. And you kind of need to replace that production because I don't think Sammy Watkins? Is that no. Does Sammy Watkins go to the Packers?
Sammy Watkins. So
I thought he did. I don't know. But
we'll check for you guys right now.
Sammy
Yes,
Watkins,
he is on the
Packers
Green Bay
number 1.
Packers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, exactly. So I don't think Sammy Watkins is replacing Devontae Adams' production. Just a hint there. Bills, I would have loved for them to draft Breece Hall here. I know you don't really like first-round running backs as a whole, people in the NFL, but God, I feel like that's all the Bills are really, really missing. They should get Tre'Davious White back. Obviously, I believe he was hurt last year, but now you have somebody to pair him with. And then the Cowboys go with Tyler Smith. I keep hearing it's a reach. Christian's been having a field day with all that. I don't know much about it. Maybe CJ can enlighten me, but how do you feel about those 4?
Yeah, the Kansas City, they go cornerback. They need help in that secondary. Remember when Jamar Chase went absolutely bonkers against them in the regular season and in the playoffs a little bit as well. But he had that regular season game. He went insane. So they definitely need help in the secondary. I like that McDuffie pickup. Washington does a really good job with their DBs in the secondary in the last few years. They've done a great job with some of their guys. So I think it'll work out. Quay Walker for Green Bay. Definitely could have been wide receivers. Most of those guys were kind of gone already. Some people said they should have traded up to go get one of those guys. Fair point. They picked up Christian Watson from North Dakota State in the later rounds. The guy that people feel like he has a lot of upside. So we'll see how that works out for him. Maybe he could be a guy for them. We'll see. But it doesn't hurt to add more to that defense. You get 2 Georgia guys. I mean, they had one of the greatest defenses in college football history. So the more guys you can get on that team, the better. And like I said, they did clean up a little bit of what they did in terms of wide receiver by getting the guy and Christian Watson, and then Kansas City too. Even some people said they should have won wide receiver after losing Tyreek Hill, but they went and got Sky Moore from Western Kentucky, and he did. He was a guy that was going to be a second round guy. They ended up picking him in the second round. He's kind of a Tyreek. His style is similar to Tyreek Hill, and they still have Juju Smith-Schuster, who's really good. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who's really good. The guy that can stretch the field. Travis Kelce's still there, so I think that offense is going to be fine over there in Kansas City. Buffalo, yep, I see your point about potentially getting a running back, but like you said, Tre'Davious White was out last year. You want to shore up that secondary. We talked about 13 seconds giving up a field goal in 13 seconds, and we know about that game and how that folded. So if you shore up the defense, that's obviously the best move to go for Buffalo. And they're still a defensive-minded football team, even though they have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then the Cowboys pick Tyler Smith, Alex Hosa. So many, he's getting. Of course, he went to the Cowboys, so everything is heightened on how he was. He had the most penalties in college football last year in holdings. So that's a stat that people just keep bringing up ever since he got drafted there. And ironically enough, the Cowboys had the most penalties in all of football last year. So adding him to that fold, people saying it's like a perfect fit. But I mean, but from what I've heard from these so-called experts, they said he's really has a lot of he's really good. He's talented, even though he's raw. He could be really good in this league. And honestly, Dallas is drafted pretty well. I mean, they don't have anything to show for it. Sorry, Perry, but they've drafted really well. Look at their drafts over the last few years. I'm crying. It's good. They've drafted, like I said, they've had some great draft picks, but just hasn't really resulted in the championships. Unfortunately, for Dallas' sake, and our offensive line, they got Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick before he retired. Lionel Collins, he had a lot of concerns. Ended up being a really good guy, and they just went and got the bag in Cincinnati. So they know what they're doing over there when it comes to O-line, and they need to go back to that run. They need to go back to running the football, getting Zeke and Pollard involved in that and running that football and being a more of a run-based offense, letting Dak work off that play action. That's when they were winning games. That's when they went 13-3. That was their formula. They need to get back to that. So, I'm not too, I'm not going to be too negative on that move because again, they really draft really well.
We go on to number 25 here with the Ravens. Another one that I really like, Tyler Linderbaum. Versatile, listed as a center. A lot of people say that he can move around a little bit. Jets trade back into the first round, get Jermaine Johnson. A lot of people love that pick as well. Jags pick up Devin Lloyd. Packers, Devontae Wyatt. Once again, no wide receiver. So people are still kind of looking at that side-eyed a little bit. But I'm still liking a lot of these picks, honestly. Packers, you shore up your defense even more. Ravens, you shore up that offensive line because you're obviously a team that likes to run the ball. Jets, you get some more pass rush. And then the Jags, a nice little linebacker to, you need some dogs out there. That's what Lloyd is. CJ?
Ravens, yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football. I know Lamar Jackson was upset with the tweet saying, what the fuck with the getting trading Marquise Brown, and that's his guy. But I like Rashad Bateman, and I like some of that Duvernay. Got some solid guys over there. We know Mark Andrews is that number one threat from a receiving standpoint on that team. And Linda, you got to go back to running the football. Linderbaum, he as a Iowa, they do a great job of running the football over there. And you bring him to that Ravens culture. I think it's a really good fit. Jets, aggressive, man. Joe Douglas, like I said earlier, they had a great draft. It's crazy. He came from Philadelphia too. Both teams had a really good draft. And they get their edge rusher. They lost Carl Lawson last year towards Achilles before the season started, so we never really got to see him play. And yeah, you get a corner, you get a top corner in the draft, you get a top wide receiver in the draft, you get one of the best edge rushers in the draft. So that's a pretty good lineup in the first round, if you ask me. They did a great job. Devin Lloyd, one of the best linebackers coming out of college this year. Him and Kobe Dean were the top two guys. And you got Trayvon Walker's your dude. We know Josh Allen's pretty good. That could be a nice three-man trio right there in that front seven. Devontae Wyatt, again, like I talked about with Quay Walker, just it's nothing wrong with getting defensive guys. The Packers haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round in forever. I mean, Devontae Adams wasn't the first round pick; he was a second round pick. So Jordy Nelson was a fourth round pick. So these guys, they always find guys later in the draft. So I mean, people making it a big story, but they seem to always make it work. And then, of course, obviously, why it works is because they've had two Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the last 30 years. So of course, that helps. Let's get to our team, man. Because
oh, brother. All right, we're gonna round out the first round here, but we'll start it with the Patriots. Cole Strange, bro, a guard out of Chattanooga, because of course,
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
What do I say every fucking time I talk about the Patriots? Every time I say that Bill is going to draft some no-name kid that nobody's ever heard of, they didn't even have highlights of this motherfucker, bro. They literally had to show a stat that said he was going to be 93% available by the Patriots' next pick. They couldn't even find the man on the goddamn YouTube, bro. How do you not find somebody on YouTube? I can look up how to do whatever I want on YouTube. There is a how-to for everything. I could go outside and make a boat right now if I really felt like it by watching a YouTube video. And they can't find Cole Strange highlights anywhere. But yeah, let's draft Cole Strange. It's not like we needed, some wide receiver help or, some speed on the defense or maybe a cornerback replacement since we just lost our best one. But, we got Malcolm Butler back. So, we should be all good. I mean, Cole Strange, bro. And here's my thing. If you really like Cole Strange that much, that's fine. Cool beans, bro. Congratulations. Draft somebody else and then use the other pick that you were going to have to get him. If he was going to – the Rams had him at like 104. What are we talking about? The 29th pick? Are you smoking dust, bro? Like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah. It was a weird. I was gonna say strange, but everybody's keep using that joke, so I'm not gonna fall into that same category. It was definitely a weird pick for sure. He's the highest guard that we drafted since Logan Mankins back in 2005. Worked out pretty well. We'll see if it works out here, man. Wasn't a big fan of the pick. Yeah, like you said, he had 0 highlights. Google pictures and slideshow, just of him showing what he could do. Apparently had a great Senior Bowl, which helped his draft stock increase. He had some really good games against some really good competition when he went up against some Power Conference teams. This is Bill. I mean, this is what Bill does. He always is unorthodox, even though the Rams had him at 104, but it doesn't matter what they think. Bill always moves to his own way. Bill always has his own style. So we did need a guard. We traded Shaq Mason for a 5th round pick. Okay.
Yeah. Move, by the way.
We traded Shaq for a 5th round pick. So we did need a guard. Ted Karras went to the Bengals. So it was a need. I think it was a little high, but we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, obviously I'm rooting for him. I mean, he's on my favorite team. So hopefully he's really good. But it was definitely a different pick. I didn't see it coming. But then then you look down. I mean, who should we have? Who was there? I mean, you could have. Who look at the team after us?
Well, see, we traded down.
What I mean?
We could have just stayed in whatever spot we were at and picked.
Well, we know Bill always trades down. He's been doing it forever. I mean, the last time he didn't trade down was last year to get Mac. So, I mean, this is we're talking about Bill Belichick. We're talking about one of the most unorthodox GMs ever. You know what I mean? So, it's job's done. Job's done now. Hopefully he's really good. Man. We know what the Patriots what they want to do. They want to run the football. I think outside of this pick, that was kind of weird. People said the Tyquan Thornton pick was a reach as well. That's what people are saying. We'll see, man. I mean, that's really all I can say at this point because it's we know Bill's history of wide receivers. Not gonna lie, wide receiver core looks much better than what it looked like last year. I mean, Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, if Thornton is a guy, and Hunter Henry's still there in the middle, and who else? And Jacoby
Aguilar never sees the field again.
If Thornton ends up being really good early, it was probably be the last of Aguilar. I would have traded
N'Keal Harry for a bag of hot Cheetos.
I don't think anybody wants to trade for him. Why would you get what do you? If he hasn't really shown anything in the league.
Bro, imagine not even being able to trade somebody for like a Mr. Irrelevant pick, bro. Like, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we could blame Bill for that, but then we also got to blame him. We also got to blame N'Keal too. I mean, it's not
good enough. Dog shit.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
I'm
dog
saying
shit for sure.
he's just not good enough, man. He had
But you're supposed
opportunities.
to know that he's bad. You're supposed to know.
I mean, it's you know it's tough. You know it's tough, man. It's tough. You can't. Draft is it's a tough thing, man. It's a tough. It's just so much left to go involved. You don't know what's in a guy's heart. That's the thing. You can't judge that. You can evaluate how they play on the field, but you don't know what's in that man's heart as soon as he gets to the league. So, but yeah, for New England, I like Marcus Jones' pick that they got out of Houston. He's a versatile guy. He's on the shorter side, he's around 5'8", but he's more of a utility guy. Can play wide receiver, can play corner, nickel. Safety or nickel. Pretty good. Pretty versatile guy. Got a couple running backs as well. James White probably going to retire or move on after next year. JJ Taylor kind of was underwhelming last year, so then I got some running backs, and we lost Brandon Bolden. So you got to shore up the special teams area there. I think it was a solid draft. It's a different draft. We have some new guys with different roles now. Matt Braun seems to be the GM, quasi GM, essentially now with Dave Ziegler leaving and going to Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels, and Josh McDaniels pretty much took a lot of the staff from the Patriots. So it's just some different guys and with some new roles. It's the same guys that were there, but they have new roles now. So but we'll see if it works out there. We know how stacked the AFC is, but I'm still confident in my guys, and hopefully Mac improves. That's at the end of the day, it don't matter who we draft. If Mac is not good enough, then that's what it's going to be. So it's going to come down to him at the end of the day. No matter if it's Cole Strange or Logan Hall, it doesn't matter. It's going to come.
Zappy, bro. Bailey fucking Zappy.
Hoyer's not getting any younger. Needed a backup at some point. Got him in the 6th round. Just got him in the 6th round. I'm not going to play.
Bailey Zappy, crazy. Christian also said, I think N'Keal Harry can be better than he is right now. Free Harry. Christian, you also thought that Sam Darnold was still good when he went to the Panthers.
He can be better than what he is. How? He can't create separation. That's on him.
Christian was still a Sam Darnold fan after, I've never heard him even admit that. So
500 yards. He can't get 500 yards. He couldn't even get 500 yards last year. He got spot ran by 2 guys that just came on the team, and he knew the offense before them. Just not good enough, bro.
He could be with someone else. Yeah. Listen, those California drugs, I know they're good, but you might have to lay off for a little bit. Kansas City at 30 drafts Carl. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Carl Aftis. The fuck is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Carl, yep, you got it right. Yeah, Carl Aftis. Yeah.
Look at that. See, Bengals go with a safety, Daxton Hill, and then we round out the first round with. I'm gonna have to go with Scene here. Is it Scene?
Yeah. Yep. It is Scene. Yeah.
Look at that. I don't have problems with these picks. You obviously pair up Carl Aftis with Chris Jones over there. You pair up a Hill with oh my gosh, I can't think of the Bengals safety now. Jesse Bates?
Yes.
All right, Jesse Bates, and then the Vikings, you pair him up with good old why can I not remember anybody's name anymore, bro? I need football season to restart so I can start remembering people's names.
Before we talk about Cincinnati, right?
Harrison Smith for Cincinnati or for the Vikings.
Yes.
Paired up Harrison Smith. And obviously
Patrick Peterson re-signed.
True.
That's well. Yep.
Carl Lafatis. Don't disrespect my Greeks. Carl Lafatis. You know what, Christian? Deal with it. We'll be all right. But that rounds out the first round. CJ, you can give your thoughts on those last 3 guys. Then listen, people, we're out of here. And especially we're out of here because I'm exhausted, bro. I had my early classes today. So 9:30, bro, got me fucked up. I don't do 9:30 well.
Yeah, these last couple picks, Chiefs win defense. Not surprised there. They could definitely shore that defensive line. Cincinnati Bengals, they needed help in that secondary. We know what Cooper Kupp did to them at the Super Bowl, and the Vikings definitely needed secondary help, 100%. So again, another Georgia guy. I think there's what six or five guys out
I think
of
it was
Georgia that got
5.
drafted in the first round. 5, yes. So I mean, Kirby's smart, man. It's a hell of a recruiter. Say that, and that those guys are special. Those guys are talented, and yeah, they needed help in that secondary for sure. So I think that's a good pickup for Minnesota. I think it's a solid draft. I mean, it's not a lot of superstar guys. You know, it's not like Chase or, it's not like the quarterbacks, like the 5 quarterbacks getting drafted last year. It's not like that. But I think we see some really good players in this draft, and I'm looking forward to seeing some steps up in that rookie season and beyond.
Well, listen, people, it's been a fantastic time, as it always is on this show. I love having everybody interacting from the YouTube comments to the Colorcast, going back and forth. People makes our jobs a lot more fun, okay? But with that being said, we got to get out of here, all right? We've brought, we've given enough of, we've given you some time. We appreciate the time you've given back. But you know what? As Michael K always says, goodbyes are very difficult. That's not actually what he says, but I can't remember his quote that he gives. It's like some John Bovey, whatever song name. CJ, tell people where they can find you and where they can enjoy all of your wonderful, by the way, and I mean wonderful content.
Yeah, linktree.com/cjames9. So you can find all the links to this podcast.
Linktree these days, okay?
Yeah, just short. It just makes it simple. It's hit up the link tree. Shows all the links to my podcast, Guard Up Podcast. On Instagram at Guard Up Pod, dropping game reactions to the playoffs every single day. So look out for that. Everybody that's been showing love and liking the reels, I really appreciate it. Twitch, CJ versus the world. Playing some Madden, playing some 2K, interacting with people as well. Twitter, right there, as you guys can see for the viewers watching. That's at CJ9_. You can follow me there. Always talking about sports, talking about all different types of sports and things that's going on in all these leagues. So you can also follow me on Twitter as well, and also Colorcast CJamesUSN.
Yes, sir. As for me, you guys know what it is by now. All right,
Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Also, Count the Bucket. I'm sorry, with my guy Michael Lawson. Keep forgetting. I'm sorry, Michael. Sorry, brother. Keep forgetting, man. I'm still kind of new to the pod, but yeah, Count the Bucket. New podcast I'm a co-host of every Sunday at 9:30 Eastern on Unwrapped Sports platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch as well. So make sure you look out for that podcast covering all things NBA, chopping it up, talking about the playoffs with Michael Lawson, Mark Bellevue, and Nick Andre.
Yes, sir. Listen, Anthony Conover _ over there on Twitter. You can, follow me for all my thoughts on the occasional world and mostly sports. I don't really do anything else besides this anyway. Mondays, 7 Eastern, Generational Sports, me and Josh talking a little bit about everything. We got the UFC, we got the NBA, we got the NFL. We started throwing a little baseball in there too because Josh started betting on it. I like talking about it, all right? So we talk about a little bit of everything. Pop culture, Moon Knight finale tonight. Very excited, by the way. Doctor Strange coming out on Thursday, I believe. Very excited. I'm going to see it Saturday. So if anybody spoils it for me, I will probably hunt you down. Just saying. Tuesdays, obviously, me and CJ are here to entertain you at 9 Eastern every Tuesday, talking everything in the football world. And then Thursdays, I have this show, but a baseball version of it, people. It's called Backstop Banter. Me and Michael break down everything in the baseball world. We're about, a month into the season, or maybe a little bit more. Got my boys on an 11-game win streak. Michael's boys don't even know what a win is like. Got some news from around the league to go over. So make sure you tune in Thursdays and listen to every single thing that I just said. All of those podcasts, Generational Sports, The Hard Count, and Backstop Banter are available everywhere you listen to podcasts as well. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If there is somewhere to listen to a podcast, we are there for you. But with all that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the comments in both the Colorcast, the YouTube. If you're watching us on Twitch, if you watch us on Twitter, we can't see the comments anymore, but we still appreciate you showing some love on Twitter as well. With all that being said, we will catch you on the next episode, everybody. All right?